In the small, seemingly quaint village of Dunsterville, nestled deep in the heart of the countryside, tales of inexplicable horrors whispered through the generations. The villagers spoke of it cautiously, as if mere mention might summon the horrors that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. Sarah had heard these stories growing up, dismissing them as mere folklore meant to deter children from wandering too far at night. It wasn't until she inherited her grandmother's house, an old estate at the edge of Dunsterville, that she began to entertain the terrifying possibility. Her grandmother had passed suddenly, leaving behind a legacy steeped in mystery and shadow. The estate, with its ivy-covered walls and creaking floorboards, seemed alive, breathing an uneasy air, carrying whispers and secrets within its ancient halls. The first night Sarah spent in the house was drowned in unease. The wind howled, and the very bones of the house moaned. Shadows twisted and danced on the walls like creatures unleashed from nightmares. She told herself it was her imagination, weaving tales from the horror lore she'd heard as a child. Days turned into weeks, and strange occurrences slowly began to unfold. Objects moved on their own, doors creaked open and shut without any breeze, and cold spots lingered in the warmest rooms. One particular night, as Sarah sat in the dimly lit library, researching the history of her grandmother's estate, she felt a chill wrap tightly around her. The air grew dense, and the shadows cast by the flickering candlelight seemed to stretch toward her. Suddenly, the room grew even darker, and the candle extinguished itself without warning. She was plunged into blackness, her heart pounding in the oppressive silence. Then, she heard it, a soft, ethereal whisper that threaded itself through the room. "Sarah," it called, the voice echoing with familiarity yet alien distortion. It was a voice she recognized, but couldn't possibly believe hearing. Her breath caught as the temperature dropped even further, and the whispering turned into anguished moans that reverberated throughout the estate. Terrified but driven by a morbid curiosity, Sarah followed the sound, navigating through the dark corridors. As she reached the drawing room, she stopped short. In the gloom, she could see the outline of a figure standing just beyond the pool of light cast by the street lamp outside. It had the semblance of her grandmother, but was twisted, its features stretched and shadowed in unnatural angles. "Why are you here?" Sarah stammered, her voice trembling. The figure extended an arm, elongated and warped, pointing toward the corner of the room where shadows swirled like dark water. "I seek rest, yet cannot find it." With a sudden gust, the windows rattled furiously, and the shadows deepened, morphing into grotesque forms. Faces emerged within them, specters of tortured souls with mournful, hollow eyes. Sarah recoiled in horror, her mind racing with disbelief and dread. She watched as the appalling figures writhed and reached, whispering in voices that carried the weight of 1,000 lamentations. Terrified, Sarah fled the estate, her heart pounding as the shadows pursued her, their whispers and wails carrying through the night air like a mournful song. In the village, elders spoke of the curse that gripped the estate, woven into its foundation by the anguish of those long past. It was said that those who died in turmoil within its walls were doomed to remain, souls forever restless. Determined to free her grandmother, Sarah sought the wisdom of the village's oldest resident, a man who had devoted his life to understanding the supernatural. "You cannot ignore what binds them there," he warned, his eyes clouded by years of sorrowful knowledge. "You must confront the darkness and bring them peace. Only then will the shadows relent." Sarah returned to the estate, armed with resolve and the rituals handed down by those who dared to face such terrors. Under the cloak of night, she entered the drawing room once again, reciting incantations meant to soothe restless spirits. The shadows seethed and whispered, trying to drown her voice with their cries. But Sarah continued, calling upon her grandmother and all the souls trapped within to find rest. Slowly, painfully, the room's terrible gloom lifted, and the specters began to dissipate, their forms unraveling into soft glimmers of light. Her grandmother's spirit, now gentle and familiar, lingered a moment longer. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice filled with gratitude and peace before fading into the night. With the estate's curse lifted, the house became serene, its walls no longer echoing with the cries of restless souls. And as dawn broke over Dunsterville, Sarah knew the shadows would not return, for peace had finally come to the haunted estate. If this story chilled you to the bone, there's more where that came from. Like, comment, and subscribe for weekly true horror stories that will keep you up at night. And remember, some stories are real. Are you sure you want to hear the next one?